I genuinely believe this video could save you 20 years of your life. I've been fiddling with like screen time and productivity stuff for a really, really long time, and I've really tried to get it right. But one of the most annoying things was like, I deleted Instagram for a long time. I deleted a bunch of apps, but I have managed to now find a way where I still have like the Instagram app, for example, and I still have the apps that I want, but I don't overuse them. And so that's been one of the biggest unlocks for me. So I also wanted to share that because I know a lot of people say just completely delete everything, but that comes with certain downsides. For example, I want to be able to text people on Instagram sometimes because it is a useful tool. I have to, like, if I want to exist as a human being, I need Instagram, right? It's just become like embedded in our world. And so I wanted to share like how I came up with something that works. We spend so much time on our phone. There were a bunch of studies that I looked into that recently said we spend about, I think like Gen Z especially spends about 6.5 hours per day on average on their phone. So 6.5 hours screen time. If you do the math on that, if you do 6.5 times 365 days a year, that is 2,372 hours a year. And you do that times, let's say you live 70 years with a phone. So that's 166,000 hours in total. That is 18.95 years that you spend on your phone. If you spend an average 6.5 hours on your phone. It is insane how much like time we've come to spend on our phone, just scrolling. And I think it's one of the biggest sources of distraction. The thing that has made me the most progress ever, all time, has been focus, just like in anything. And that, it can be in fitness, it can be in business, it can be in relationships, just absolutely anything. The way you move faster in something, the way you make more progress is just focus. And distractions are the opposite of focus. They're the enemy of focus. And so controlling your phone is something that I find really useful. And recently I was looking into a bunch of videos and I made some changes on my phone that I think have been super, super useful. I've been running a software company for the last 2.5 years, and being able to actually get my work done is one of the most important things. And if you take those 20 years of your life and you put them into something else, you could build something really, really cool just with the time that you were otherwise spending on your phone. And these changes seriously helped me focus a lot more as somebody who needs that on a daily basis to actually move stuff forward. And like, I'm responsible for people and I need to show up every single day. And so these changes seriously helped me. So I wanted to share basically some of the changes that have made the most difference for me and brought my screen time down to usually like an hour a day or something like that. But it also doesn't involve having your phone on like grayscale at all times and just having basically a Nokia brick in your pocket instead of an iPhone. The first thing that I do is get rid of notifications, a lot of them. So I always have silent mode on, and my notifications are basically exclusive to things on my calendar, messages from people that I need to reply, and payment notifications. But other than that, I seriously like I don't have news notifications. I don't have notifications from Uber on their promotions. You can configure all of this in app, but I still get notified when my driver's here, for example. I configure things in app when I need some notifications, but I don't want others. And like, I don't have Duolingo kind of spamming me with things. Like, most of the notifications you get, you probably don't need. Just literally go on your notification center, scroll through your notifications, and just delete and like turn off the ones that you don't need. The reality is you probably need less than you think. And yeah, I think that's one of the big things. Remove notifications and mute group chats. When you're like on WhatsApp, on Telegram, on your messaging app, sometimes you have group chats which you need to be a part of, but like people are constantly blowing it up. Mute those. If you don't actually need to listen to things constantly, just mute it. For me, I need Slack notifications, but I will mute certain Slack channels which are constantly being bombarded with updates. So there's that. The second thing is like clean up your home page. Remove apps from your home page that you don't need immediately, and just keep ones there that you need to access every time you use your phone. And so for me, that's things like messages, Slack, email, like business communication things are the main things I use my phone for. That's the kind of work that I do on the go. And the only other thing I have on my homepage is Notion. And I have the little widget, like use widgets strategically. Use widgets to minimize the number of clicks to do the thing that you intend to do. So for me, I have a task list. I manage my entire to-do list on Notion. If you're curious about how I do that, definitely drop a comment. I'm happy to make a video on that. But I manage my entire to-do list on my Notion, and it works super, super well. Like, I've been doing it for over a year now. I've been trying to get good to-do lists for like 5 years. But I have a little widget, and I can click in directly to my 3 most used pages. And those pages cover like 90% of what I need to do on Notion on my phone. So I can very quickly do things. And then I have notes for quick thoughts. And like, that covers pretty much 95% of all my phone usage. And so that alone is really, really powerful. So like, clean up your homepage, keep things that you really need, be intentional, like remove everything and then add things back in only when you actually need them. When you unlock your phone, if you're not using an app every 2 or 3 times, then just remove it from your homepage. You can, search for it if you need. So I have like Google Maps. I have a couple more things, but it's really not that busy. The third thing I would do is turn off the raise to wake thing. Like I don't want my phone screen lighting up whenever I pick it up. I want to be intentional and have to click on it for it to turn on. And for me, like it's a small thing, but it makes a bit of a difference. And it means that it doesn't automatically just turn on whenever I pick it up and I do something. And the last thing, which for me was like one of the most useful things, was setting up a blocker app. I'll get the name of it in a second, but I found this app completely for free that basically blocks a bunch of apps for me. And what I do is I block Instagram. I think it's allowed from 8 till 11 p.m. And the entire point of that, rather than having like a screen time limit, is that I can not compulsively check it whenever I want. I can only check it between that hour. And so I don't like compulsively pick it up first thing in the morning or something like that. I know that I have to wait until that time window. So I get out of that habit. I have the Instagram app and I barely use it. And I like having the Instagram app because I want to, sometimes I want to post a story. I want to make a post. I want to message somebody. I want to be able to view reels. And I can't do that on the web browser, which is what I used to do. I used to like only use Instagram on my web browser and the experience was terrible. And sometimes messaging people didn't really work. And that was awful. But this way I still get to text people back, but I'm not addicted and compulsively checking it all the time. The other thing that also I did was I set up a shortcut to turn on grayscale at 5 a.m. and ends at 12 noon. So in the morning hours, my phone is in grayscale. So it's a bit more boring and stuff like that. Now it's not like that all day, but for the morning, which is when I tend to have my focus time, it is kind of a lot less fun to use. And so that's something that I think is really nice as well. But yeah, that has brought me a lot of peace of mind and I've been doing that the past few months.